Optimus Prime! Hey, can you stop Megatron for pissing in my sink? Okay, cool.
The leader of Team Prime in the series Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime, gets a toy in the Robots in Disguise sub-theme, not the later Robots in Disguise line or earlier Robots in Disguise line. This toy is a Voyager class figure, which is also called Powerizers, and now I've strained my brain and can't count milk. This version of the character had a few toys beforehand in the first edition sub-theme, but this is the one that would make it to mass release. It's also a little strange. I remember seeing this figure in every store, but now in the aftermarket, it's tricky to get a handle on. So I want to thank TFA 1024 for sending out this figure. I never did purchase it during its release, but it means a lot to have it now. I will say I will try to not make a strong comparison to the seemingly superior first edition Voyager, as I don't have that figure. In this, we'll mostly focus on the figure on its own. With that, is the toy any good? In alt mode, Optimus Prime transforms into a semi-rig based on his animation model. I can't pinpoint it, but there's something off about it. The red feels maybe a bit too pale, but I'm not sure if that's the issue. From what I've seen on the show, Optimus seems to have colors darker to this, probably to go with the emo phase of the show. Could be the dull gray plastic, which he has two different tones of, but if I have to guess, I don't think the transparent blue windows was a great idea, and he's missing the blue paint that travels at the bottom of the cab. Still, the molding seems fine, seemingly based on his movie aesthetic relevant at the time. Love the square shape, makes him feel clean, tough, American! Panel lines abound. These side panels have a little wiggle room, but it should stand just fine if you have everything right. Turn to the back and you'll find literal putrid robot vomit. There's 3 ports on the back so you can store the weapons and that's not a good look, but it does keep everything together. You can add it to the center peg, but it doesn't keep it secure. There's enough ports for both weapons. You can also combine them so it's just one chunk of metal machinery chaos. Oddbot logo on the front so when he runs you over it leaves an imprint. Sorry Batman, someone beat you to it. Wheels roll nicely and he attack? He smokestack. If you think it's boring, open up the side panels and Flying Truck Boss has approached the battlefield! While I question the color choice, what's given isn't inherently bad, it's just lacking in indulging flair. But it does the job as an Optimus Prime semi-rig. So what more can I ask for? Robot mode. In robot mode, Optimus Prime's mold and shape is pretty satisfying enough. Not as burly as I'd hoped, but for a simpler figure, they didn't do half bad. The chest even opens up to create a more rounded presence. However, imperfections and lackluster aplenty. The duller gray colors and the transparent blue forearms makes the deco muted. The figure doesn't really pop, and for an Optimus Prime toy, that's not a good thing. I know I don't want to make too much of a comparison, but the first edition just yelled, "Extreme Patriotism!" This one says, patriotism, I guess. The head's got the right shape, but because it feels more slick, it comes across as a younger version of himself, rather than the stoic and wise Prime we've come to know. But at least he's got a skyscraper on his forehead. Did someone say, articulation? Ball jointed head, ball jointed shoulders, rotation below elbow bend, ball jointed hips, rotation below knee bend, tilt, and ball jointed feet. Now I got this second hand, so I'm not sure if the quality has died down, but the joints and the hips are way too loose and frustrating. Thank God for the joints and the feet, but if those are loose, you're screwed. Oh no, a Mr. Optimus fell down. As well, yes, these back panels are huge, but I wouldn't mind if they tapped into place. One slip and something doesn't seem right here. I do have to admit, he does look good next to his crew. Who are these people? Let's take a look at the weapons. Whoa, the Star Saber! What a piece of shit! I mean, the details are on the nose, but its small size and dull color makes it look like a foam roleplay toy. You can flip up the hand and plug it like his arm blades, but that's insensitive. He also comes with the blue and gray paperweight that can flip out, revealing a blaster on an extended paperweight that doesn't lock in. You can plug it into the hand, but it doesn't really stay in place. You can plug it into the forearm, and when you deploy the mechanic, a red light will transfer through the arm and into the barrel, but it's a sad attempt and it doesn't really work. You could also plug it into the shoulder, but meh. See, I would have been fine with the coloring, even the transparent blue arms, but he really needs more red. The abundant lack of it opposed to the gray in the body just sets a dull, lifeless husk of the man he once was. With all the issues set for Optimus Prime, the toy is really not that bad, just not up to its potential. I think it's basic enough to satisfy the gap in your collection if you can't manage to get the first edition. However, this toy seems to have fallen off the face of the earth, and it's pretty hard to find, at least from my experience. At least it looks more like its animation representative over the Beast Hunters figure. What was this trying to accomplish? And hey, I believe the first edition was too tall to compare with the Megatron release, so this is much closer to the correct size. So he's a bit of a fixer-upper, but if you give him some love and support, I'm sure you'll find something to enjoy. And while I have your attention, I'd like to dismiss the stereotype that Primes don't party. This is false. Primes do indeed party, but it usually results in pregnancy.